Good morning นะครับ everyone.
Good morning ครับอาจารย์
How are you today ครับ Are you good?
โอเคครับอาจารย์
Okay, I hope that all of you get up already. Okay, and ready นะครับ Okay, so the first thing that I just like want to talk about is just like I have a short recap for what we studied on the last class for the basic things in Microsoft Excel นะครับ So firstly, for the Microsoft Excel version that we can use can be the Microsoft Excel for Windows from 2010 version and above, I mean the newer. For Microsoft Excel on Mac, you can also use it as well from 2010 and above. Or you may be able to use Microsoft Excel 365. That is just like quite similar to Microsoft Excel for Windows anyway. So on the last class, we talked about the Microsoft Excel components that you have to know. Okay, let me just like share my screen first. Okay, all right. So the version that I normally use is Microsoft Excel on Windows. Okay, so when we have to start Microsoft Excel, we just like click on the window button and then just click on Excel. The computer lab in here in building 1, we use Microsoft Excel 2016 version. So now let me just like talk about like the file that we created on the last class. On Monday, we created a file or a workbook. A Microsoft Excel workbook or a file is the same thing. In this one, I call it as my first book file. Okay, let me open it. For anyone who were not here on Monday, we click on blank workbook in order to create a new book. Okay, right. So in this one, this is the workbook that we have got. In the workbook, it consists of many pages that we call them as worksheets or sheet. The default one for the current version of Excel, when you create the new workbook, it creates one worksheet for you. And if you would like to have more sheets, you just click on plus symbol next to the sheet tab in order to create the new worksheet or sheets. For the worksheets that we have got, if you would like to rename it, you just simply right click and then choose rename. And then you just rename to whatever name you want to have. Okay, now let's talk about the component in Microsoft Excel that you have to know. The top part of Microsoft Excel program is what we call title bar. It consists of, in the middle part, it consists of the file name. If you haven't saved it yet, for example, let me just like new a file or new a book for you. This one, it will be called as book followed by the number. If it is your first book that you just like recently created, once you open up the Microsoft Excel right now, it's called as book 1. And then if you create more and more, we have book 2, book 3, and so on. Here, you can see that we have book 1, 2, 3. Okay, so on the left-hand side of the title bar, it is a save button. This is a shortcut because whenever you have your Excel and you start typing anything, I recommend you to always click on save because sometimes you never know if your computer is freezing, especially right now when we use the computer, we always open up some other programs at the same time to do the multitasking. For example, you might open up Google Chrome. Some of you just play the game as a background as well. That may cause like Excel to be crashed. So I recommend you to keep saving the file by just clicking on the top left corner button. That is the diskette button here. Lower than the title bar, we have the menu bar that consists of many menus that we have that are grouping the related or relevant menus together นะครับ from computer to computer the menus might be different depends on our setup also depends on the programs that you just like install into your computer as well. For example, in this computer they install the sorry, this one is not. They just like have the developer tab in order to just like use to control the parts for Microsoft Excel to be the interaction one. For your computer, you may not have it now, but later on, I'll just like show you how to activate this menu. Some of the people, when they install the PDF Maker, the PDF Maker create one more menu on Microsoft Excel as well. So that's why, as I told you, from computer to computer, the installation of the software caused the menu to be different. Next one, I think I didn't tell you on the last class for sign in and share. These two buttons or two links in here make this Excel to be shareable and to be savable on the cloud basis. If you sign in, you can use Mahidol's account to sign in, or you can use your Hotmail account to sign in. Once you sign in, you can save the file on the cloud drive, okay, on the cloud drive. For Microsoft Cloud Drive, it's called as OneDrive. You can save it over there instead of saving in just like your local computer only. While the share button, if you click share and then you enter, you have to save to cloud, this file to cloud first before you can share to other people. So once you save and share, then you can just like add your friends or other colleagues Hotmail account in order to let you share this file to other people. It works as if Google Doc, something like that. So that means if you and your colleague are opening the same worksheet, or the same workbook, sorry, at the same time, once you type anything in, your colleague can see it as well. This is the share features. The share features come after Excel 2016 and above. That means if you have the version that is older than 2016 version, you cannot have the real-time sharing the file like this. Okay, now we talk about the ribbons that consist of many buttons in our Excel. Whenever you have to use, they group these buttons, these icons, these features according to the menu. Okay, below the ribbon, we have name box. Name box is a place where we can name the cell that I'll talk about later on, or we can just like use it to identify the location of the cursor. The green box is a cursor here. That is the active cell that we are working with. For example, right now, my name box showing as A1. That means my active cell is at A1. Each box, each small box in Excel, we call it as a cell, C-E-L-L cell. That is the intersection between row and column. Whenever we would like to identify the location of the cell, we begin with a column name first. For example, if we are talking about this active cell is an intersection between column A, row number 1. So we call it as the cell A1, like this A1. So if you would like to go to any specific cell, you may just like use a scroll bar, up and down, left and right to go to a specific cell that you want to go. For example, right now, I am at cell R51. 51, or you can notice from the name box as well. Each cell, what do we have in each cell? Normally, each cell, we store a piece of data. The data can be the text, can be numbers, can be date, can be currency. Depends on what data that you would like to have. So normally, we just like try to make one cell to be just like the, the standalone value that are not connected to other cells. For example, you say that, okay, one cell to store the cell's representative name. So you just like put the name of the person only. just in case that you would like to sort them, you can just like do it. Because if you just like put everything in one cell, the way in order to calculate, the way in order to sort, or in the way in order to filter them will be done difficultly. Okay, I'll talk about it later on. So if you would like to go back to the original, to the cell A1, right now I'm at cell 51, right? If I want to go back to the cell A1, there are a couple of ways to do. The first one, you just like scroll back to the cell A1 and then click. That is the basic way. Second one, you may just like click on the name box and type A1 like this. Then the cursor move back to the active cell to be cell A1 instead. So, and let me just like tell you that, okay, what is a shortcut? If you use Windows-based computer, or if you use the full-size keyboard, not the MacBook keyboard, that is the laptop keyboard. It is just like not the standard keyboard. The standard keyboard means that you have the keyboard that consists of the button that is home, insert, page up, page down, delete, and end button on the right-hand side of backspace. While MacBook keyboard doesn't have it. If you use a full-size keyboard, in order to go back to A1, you just press Control button and Home. Then it jumps back to cell A1 immediately. By the way, when I just like go out to the cafe or go to the meeting, I bring just my laptop only. So I don't mind to go to the cell A1. I just like go to name box and type A1 straight away. Because some of the people say that, hey, should I carry the full-size keyboard along with my laptop? No need. You don't need to do so, because we have like other ways in order to go to the cell A1 easily. All right, next one, we talk about like the middle part of the of this line. We have cross and tick and FX. Cross and ticks are the buttons, not buttons, sorry. It's the indicator to show us that, okay, whether the function that we are using, we enter all the correct syntax or not. By the way, correct syntax doesn't mean your function will work properly. You have to consider by yourself. Cross and tick symbol, just like tell us that, okay, if this function needs to have like 3 values inside, do you have 3 values or not? That one, you just follow the syntax of the function. But I mean, like, for your intention, if you want to calculate anything, you have to think first. If you just like put that 3 value, will it give you the correct answer or not? That Excel cannot tell you. You have to just like consider by yourself. Okay, I'll talk about it later on. Next, we talk about the long white box here. The long white box here is what we call formula bar. Formula bar is a place where you can see, where you can enter, where you can edit the formula of any cells that you have got. Right now, it means that if I just like have the formula bar like this, and I type ABC like this, you can see that right now the formula bar is we are entering the value in the cell A1, and you can see that in cell A1 it has a value ABC as well. Right now we don't have any formula, we have just the value. That's why the value in formula bar ABC is the same value as your original cell A1. I'll talk about it later on, but right now you know that normally formula bar shows the value or the formula of the current cell that the name box is located right now. So right now we have the worksheet in here already. In order to highlight the cells, in order to highlight the rows or columns to do something, you just go to let me just like show you. If you would like to highlight the column, you go to the column name. The cursor will be changed from the thick white cross to be the black down arrow. Then you just drag. Then this one, it is the way that you can just like highlight many columns at a time. Same as rows. If you move the mouse pointer over the row number, the cursor will be changed to be the right black arrow นะครับ then you can drag in order to do something ครับ or if you say that I don't want to choose a whole row or the whole column I just want to choose some specific cell you just like move the mouse pointer to be at the cell that you want to highlight and then drag นะครับ it will be highlighting ครับ some actions that you have to know is that when you highlight the cells the cells the active cells come in terms of like the gray colors also it has a frame นะครับ in green color like this means that you are highlighting these cells so on the bottom right corner you always see green dot นะครับ if you mouse pointer to the green dot the cursor will be changed from a white thick cross to be black thin cross. This one normally we use it for autofill นะครับ that I'll talk about it next on. Or if you move the mouse pointer on any green border, you can see that the cursor will be changed to be 4 directional arrow นะครับ the 4 directional arrow here means that you would like to moveนะครับ those values of those cells somewhere else นะครับ like this now I'm moving the value in this cell because right now we don't have any value inside so that's why we don't see it นะครับ okay I'll show you again when we go back to my first book file okay so okay now let me just like close the workbook that I don't use first okay let's go back to my first book file in here นะครับ on the last class we start typing some data already นะครับ we start typing some data already for anyone who didn't come to the class on the last time นะครับ I'll copy this data for you normally when I copy one column at a time นะครับ so that you can paste them easily this one this part okay so what we did on the last class นะครับ I talk about the autofill features in Microsoft Excel I told you that some of the data นะครับ if you have a pattern for Excel it can automatically fill up the data for you for example if you say that you have the running number 1 2 3 4 5 until 12 like this you can just like enter the example for Excel first for example if you enter a 1 and 2 Excel will anticipate that the next number that you would like to have will be 3 4 5 and so on so what are we going to do in order to make Excel to fill up the data then you just highlight the cells that you have that you use it as a pattern like 1 and 2 as I told you when you highlight many cells it shows the green dot at the bottom right corner this one okay if you move the mouse pointer to see the thin black cross นะครับ this one once you drag down it will be autofill so in this one it shows 3 to 12 for you okay by the way if you said that your original example are 1 and 3 this one Excel will think that you might want to have the odd numbers so that means the next one will be 5 7 and so on นะครับ these are odd numbers that Excel can help filling up if you put 1 and 4 let's see นะครับ this one is not odd or not just even number or not the series of data นะครับ serially so you can see that in here it will be the sequence instead นะครับ 1 and 4 difference are 3 นะครับ then it will be added by 3 for each cell that you add on 4 plus 3 is 7 7 plus 3 is 10 and so on like this so it depends on you how would you like the data to be filled up okay so if you don't want any cells นะครับ the way that I just suggest you to do นะครับ you don't delete it นะครับ if you just like highlight them and choose delete the things that will happen is that it may cause a problem like this because if I delete and I didn't choose properly, it shift my revenue cell to be in column B straight away. Let me undo first. The correct way, if you don't want these cells, you highlight them first. Then the first one on your keyboard, you may press delete button. This is the first way to clear the data. Or you highlight the cells, right click, and then choose clear contents. It's the same. It's the correct way in order to clear out the data instead of shifting any cells wrongly. Okay. So now I want number 3 to 12. The autofill can be done on month as well. In this one, make sure that you spell correctly. Now, if I have January and February, so I can drag to have the autofill from March to December. I can just like drag more, but the data will be more than December. It will be restarted to be Jan, Feb, and March once again. Something like this, because it's the end of the year at December already. Okay. All right, next we talk about revenue, and then I ask you to enter the revenue data like this one. My suggestion, whenever you have to enter the currency, do not enter $sign, do not enter comma. Just enter the data like this, because when you just like would like to have comma, sometimes you want to have comma, sometimes you don't want to have, sometimes you don't want to have currency symbol, something like that. You can just like do in formatting the cells. How do we gonna format the cells? After you enter the data already, in here, we can highlight and then choose the cell and then choose format cells. In this one, if you want to display these values as a currency, you want to have $sign, you want to have comma, you want to have decimal points. The things that you can do is that you format the cells. You just click on number tab, go to currency. So you can see the preview here. The example here. It shows like currency symbol, comma, and then decimal points. If you say that, oh, all of these revenue doesn't have decimal points, you can just like decrease number of decimal points as well. And the currency symbol here, you can change to be any symbol that you would like to have. The lower one tell us about the negative numbers. If the negative number happens to these cells, how would you like them to be displayed? Would you like to have negative symbol in front, or would you like to change the color to be in red, or you would like to have the parentheses? Okay, it depends. Okay, in this one, it shows like all the data with the currency symbol and the comma already with our decimal points. Now, let me just like show you. Let's have a look. If you click on the revenue of January, what will happen? In the cell C6, it is showing $1, 755,210, right? Now, let's see in the formula bar. Formula bar show 1755210 without any symbols. Formula bar normally, once you click on that cell, the formula bar will show original value for that cell before you format it. Or sometimes when you calculate something, in the cell, it shows one value, while the formula bar shows the formula that causes the cell to show the value like that. You see it next on. The next thing that you have to know, whenever we talk about Microsoft Excel, it just won't be long. The next thing that you have to know about Microsoft Excel is that Excel is a spreadsheet software. Normally in the past, the first group of people who would like to use Excel was the accountant, because instead of having manually calculation for every single value that they have, spreadsheet software is a software that helps us for calculating the things. So Now I am going to talk about the features in Microsoft Excel that consists of the calculation as a basis. So in this one, you can see that, okay, we have the revenue already. We have the revenue already. Suppose we say that, okay, we need to have the calculation in terms of the revenue in Thai baht. What should we do? Okay, so in this one, suppose I just like put some information like this. Suppose I say that I have currency exchange, currency exchange. $32.15 Thai baht per $1. Okay. So this one, just have a look. The data that I type in, the currency exchange, I separate it from the cell that I type the word currency exchange because I want 32.15 as a part of calculation somewhere. So no one type like this Be careful No one does like this, because if you try to just like enter everything in the same cell, you can see that how do I know what do I have in this cell, in the cell I2? If you see in the formula bar, it shows everything. Currency exchange 32.15 Thai baht per $1. Don't do like this. The things that you have to do is that separate 32.15 as one cell, because otherwise in this one, in the cell I2 in here, it is text because it's explanation of currency exchange, how much it is, and I cannot calculate from this text. Okay, right. When we have the currency exchange already, okay, I put the word correct and wrong so that you know which one, do's and don'ts. The next one, before we start having any calculation, let me show you something first. When we say that our column is too narrow or too wide, what should we do? You have to know that we have the way in order to adjust the width of the column or the height of the rows. If you feel that your column C is too narrow, how do you gonna widen the column? In order to widen the column, you choose a column that you would like to widen. You can choose more than one column at a time. Now I choose one column first. For example, I choose column C. There are a couple of ways in order to change the width of the column or the height of the row. After you choose that column or highlight the column already, you right click, you go to the column name, right click on it, then you see context menu. You just choose column width and then just specify the width that you want to have. For example, now the unit is point, now it's 9 points. If I want 20 points, yeah, you can see that right now the width of the column is wider. If you would like to change the width of more than one column, you just highlight them and do the same thing. If you choose column width and then you choose 25, let's say, column B and column C will have the same width immediately in here. This is the first one. Second way, in order to change the width of the column, you highlight the column that you want to change the width. Go to the border of that column. Normally, I go to the right border. Or if I choose the row to change the row height, I go to the bottom border of the row. Like this. Now, okay, let's see. For the column width, if I want to change, I go to the right border, at the column heading here, column C. Okay, then once you move the mouse pointer at the border of the column, you see the mouse pointer นะครับ change its appearance to be two directional arrow with the small vertical line in the middle. In here it means that it's adjustment of the width of the column. Then you can drag นะครับ in order to change the width immediately. You can choose more than one column at a time as well นะครับ in here if I choose column B and column C I can make them to be smaller or larger นะครับ or wider. For the height it's the same thing นะครับ you can choose the row นะครับ for example I say that the headers I want the table header to be higher than this. I go to click on row 5 and then I drag in order to make the row height to be higher. Something like this. When you have this already, okay, the last one is the way that you have to know in order to set up the width of the column or the height of the row automatically. This one you highlight the column first or the row first. Go to the border of the column or the row once again. Instead of dragging, you double click instead at the border. If you double click, it will automatically justify the width by itself, so that every single column that you choose will be able to display every single value. Something like this. Just a little bit thing. Sometimes if your data is shown like this, a lot of hatches like this in many cells, that means there's nothing wrong, just the column width is a bit narrow. Then you just like widen it so that it can show all the data. Just that there's nothing wrong. Okay, now let's talk about the calculation first. Okay, the calculation first. Okay, before I talk about the calculation, up to this point, do you have any questions? Anyone? All right. If you don't have any question, let's start. Let's continue with the calculation in Microsoft Excel. So whenever you would like to have any calculation, normally the things that we always have to do for the cells with the calculation, we always begin the cell with equal sign. Equal sign means you would like to start calculating or entering any functions in that cell. Okay, and then you follow by the formula or you follow by the calculation. For example, if you say that you want to multiply 3 by 5, you enter equal sign and then follow by 3 times 5, 3 star 5. Let's see, let's do it together. If I say that, okay, in my cell D1, I want to have 3 by 5 equals to 3 times 5. Then in here, I have 15, right? So what would I like you to see? If you have a look, in the cell D1, it is showing 15, right? But if you would like to know that where or how did I get 15, you have a look on the formula bar. You can see that it's from 3 times 5, okay, to get 15. How to edit the formula that you enter? You have a couple of ways to do. If you say that 3 times 5 is wrong, it must be 3 times 6. You don't have to retype anything. The things you do is that you go to that cell, double click on it. Then the formula will pop up and then you can change to be 3 times 6, something like that. And then you press enter. The next way, you go to formula bar. You click on that cell first. You go to formula bar and then you see 3 times 5, right? You change to be 3 times 6. Because somebody, they do like this. As I noticed on the last term, some students did like this. They go to the cell they want to change the formula and then they just start typing equal sign 3 times 6. That means it clear out the old formula and restart with the first one. sometimes your formula is very long นะครับ it wastes the time to retype everything the easier way is to edit and change นะครับ by just like go to that cell double click and change or click on that cell and then go to formula bar to change the formula นะครับ that is faster right okay นะครับ so this is the basic calculation in Microsoft Excel you can just like begin the cell with equal sign followed by the calculation นะครับ okay now the next thing that you have to know นะครับ about Microsoft Excel's calculation is what we call นะครับ referencing นะครับ okay. Referencing in Microsoft Excel is the way that you refer the value from another cell in the calculation นะครับ when you refer to the value from another cell in the calculation you have two different type of referencing that you have to know the first one we call it as relative reference นะครับ second one is what we call absolute reference so นะครับ when we know that we have two different kind of referencing in Excel let's talk about the first kind of referencing นะครับ that is relative reference what is relative reference relative reference is a kind of referencing to the value of another cell it is the way that you can just like simply copy the formula นะครับ in other location easily and then the relative reference will follow นะครับ the cells that you copy นะครับ I'll explain to you when we just like have what the practice on the relative reference นะครับ you have to see first how relative reference work and then you understand about it now นะครับ okay in column D of our table, I will add another column called revenue in Thai baht นะครับ and I said that for this revenue it is what to say using relative reference okay นะครับ in order to have the calculation in here as I mentioned earlier we always have to begin with equal sign right we know that the currency exchange is 32.15 baht per $1 นะครับ the way to do is that if we want to know revenue in Thai baht we will multiply the revenue in US นะครับ dollars by 32.15 right okay. if you don't know anything นะครับ if you don't know about the referencing you may type 1755210 times 32.15 and then you get 56 million point something instead นะครับ this is without the relative reference or any referencing so if we have the reference what should we do ครับ we will use the value in the cell C6 to be multiplied with 32.15 นะครับ okay ครับ everyone let's do it together นะครับ we type equal sign and then we type the cell C6 นะครับ once you type the cell that is referencing that is the reference the cell that you are referring will be shown นะครับ as a frame นะครับ with a specific color so right now นะครับ you can see that on my screen the cell C6 is showing in blue color right and the text that I type in equals to C6 the word C6 is shown in the same matching color too this one Excel try to help the users if you have to refer to many cells นะครับ they show each cell with different colors so that you can notice in your formula easily นะครับ then you type equals to C6 times 32.15 okay I type this formula okay so when we get this one นะครับ when we get this one the things that we can see is that in here นะครับ once you press enter it shows นะครับ the value the revenue in Thai baht for us the cell C6 in this formula is called relative referencing sorry let me call it as a reference first it is a reference why do we call it as relative reference นะครับ I want you to do something ครับ everyone if you finish on typing the formula here นะครับ just click on the cell D6 นะครับ or revenue in Thai baht of January then you see the green dot right move the mouse pointer to the bottom right corner of the cell D6 ครับ and then drag it down to autofill the cells until December's revenue in Thai baht and then you release okay let me do it again นะครับ I click on the revenue in Thai baht of January นะครับ on the green dot on at the bottom right corner of that cell I drag down นะครับ until December revenue now you get sets of numbers right have a look on revenue in Thai baht of February ครับ if you double click you can see that it is C7 times 32.15 in March if you double click it's C8 times 32.15 C9 C10 and so on นะครับ let's move on to the December's revenue it's C17 times 32.15 you can see that the terms times 32.15 of every sales are the same but the first term of the calculation change from C6 to be C7 C8 until C17 this part we call it as relative reference because whenever you copy that formula down in lower row นะครับ for one row นะครับ the row number of the referring cell will be added by 1 so that means you can see that the action we did is that from C6 right we copy okay let me just like clear out other value first okay in here it's C6 right I copy นะครับ you can do one cell at a time นะครับ you can click copy when you just like paste down นะครับ one lower row the referencing cell from C6 will be added by 1 to be C7 from C7 if you do the same thing you copy and then you paste it will be added by 1 row นะครับ to be C8 okay so นะครับ this is what we call relative reference the benefit of having relative reference is that you don't need to type the formula for every single cell นะครับ if you say that okay the value in column C okay is the value that will be changed นะครับ the cell of that value will be changed whenever the cell of the revenue in Thai baht is going down นะครับ in another row something like that that is a good thing it makes your life easier because you don't need to type everything manually okay so the next one that you have to know is that when you have the relative reference already นะครับ it has the advantage, but sometimes it make you difficult in order to calculate as well นะครับ okay suppose นะครับ assume that we would like what to say the commission okay commission amount. If we say that the commission amount in Thai baht, okay, let's say if we say that we have commission amount in Thai baht, the commission amount in Thai baht นะครับ come from the revenue in Thai baht times 2%นะครับ revenue in Thai baht times 2%. So the way in order to do this นะครับ is easy. You just simply refer to the revenue in Thai baht and multiply it by 10%, 2%. So everyone ครับ I would like you to do it by yourself นะครับ try to find out the commission amount นะครับ find the commission amount in Thai baht นะครับ it's 2% of the revenue in Thai baht for me นะครับ do it fill up this column ครับ this column F นะครับ column F I give you 2 minutes to do นะครับ and when you finish already นะครับ how do I know whether you finish already please type the commission amount in Thai baht of December for me in the chat box นะครับ if you finish already type the commission amount in Thai baht of December นะครับ in the chat box please so that I know you finish already นะครับ find out the commission amount in Thai baht for me please and when you finish just copy the commission amount in Thai baht of December for me in the chat box okay please do it by yourself now ครับ okay right now Papan just give us the answer already นะครับ what about others ครับ okay. by the way นะครับ for some of you who show the currency symbol be careful right now we are talking about commission amount in Thai baht but you are showing dollar sign นะครับ then you have to change it to be Thai baht too for the currency symbol okay time's up นะครับ everyone now it's easy right for this one we just like type the formula equals followed by the revenue in Thai baht นะครับ in this one it is D6 multiplied by 2% นะครับ somebody may put multiply by 2 over 100 like this is okay นะครับ sorry somebody just enter D6 multiplied by 0.02 that are okay too นะครับ same thing as 2% okay so in this one when I copy the formula like this นะครับ I get like all the commission amounts นะครับ in Thai baht by the way for this one I need to enter sorry I need to format the cells to show the stang unit as well นะครับ the decimal points unit as well in here also I think for the revenue in Thai baht I should just like display the decimal points as well นะครับ let me just set it up นะครับ I just format cells and then I choose currency with 2 decimal places and I change currency units okay right okay so next one นะครับ when we learn about how do we gonna have the relative reference already นะครับ now I want you to find out some more thing. Okay, before we do that, okay, you can see that I leave column E as a blank because I want to add something in here. Okay, now before I just like put the calculation for column E นะครับ this one you can see that the column D and column F is very wide นะครับ if I say that okay I try to squeeze them นะครับ you can see that the word revenue in Thai baht using something in here นะครับ the text will be over column D but if I just like make column D to be too wide it looks too wide in here in this table so what should we do this concept we call it as wrapping the text นะครับ in order to wrap the text means that you try to make everything นะครับ the text that you have in that cell to be in the same cell with the specific width in case that the width of the column นะครับ is too narrow it just like make the text to be pushed down into another row นะครับ let's see what are we going to do text wrapping you just click on cell D5 that is a header นะครับ for revenue in Thai baht using relative reference in here so in the home tab in the alignment group you can see that the top right corner of the alignment group you have wrap text right just click on wrap text นะครับ okay right now it seems like there's nothing happen but if you narrow down the width of the column you can see that the text is squeezing นะครับ it tries its best in order to fit within that column width by the way 2 lines might not enough you may have to increase the height of the row a bit so that it can just like show the word revenue in Thai baht properly okay in here okay let me do again with the commission amount นะครับ I click on the cell F5 go to home menu choose wrap text as well and then I squeeze the width okay right now I can have like the narrower column นะครับ okay because we have wrap up the text of the header already okay next นะครับ what do I want to do okay so right now everyone ครับ you have entered this text already right the currency exchange 32.15 Thai baht per $1 นะครับ okay I want you to use revenue in Thai baht นะครับ okay wrap the text too okay this time I want you to นะครับ use the reference the relative reference to multiply two things together นะครับ in the cell นะครับ in column E I want you to multiply the revenue in Thai baht with the currency exchange นะครับ and then just like do it for me to fill up the revenue in Thai baht column here I'm sorry I just like put the wrong one I want you to multiply revenue in US dollars นะครับ with the currency exchange in the formula ครับ everyone just like do it for me ครับ I give you 2 minutes นะครับ calculate the revenue in Thai baht by referring to the revenue column in column C and the currency exchange in the cell J1 ครับ when you finish นะครับ if you finish already please type the revenue in Thai baht from your calculation of December นะครับ for me in the chat box when you get the answer for revenue in Thai baht from your calculation already นะครับ enter the revenue in Thai baht from the calculation นะครับ of December for me in the chat box Okay, right now, some of you start getting the answer already,นะครับ and then the time is over too. Okay, so now,นะครับ, now, let me just like show you the way that we studied before,นะครับ, whether we get that value 72 million or not,นะครับ. In this one, the way we do, hang on, is that we multiply cell C6 with J1 ครับ with the cell J1. You can see that right now C6 is in blue color, J1 is in red color, right? Okay. Then you can see that we get 56 million, similar to the one that we did before, okay? Now, if I copy the formula, I copy, and then I paste. What happened? Let's have a look,นะครับ. On on February, we have the similar calculation to January, right? But in this one,นะครับ, in February, the calculation is C7 to J2. In March, is C8 to J3. In April, is C9 to J4, and so on. Okay, so you can see that for the revenue,นะครับ, it's moving down to C6, C7, C8, and so on. No problem. That's correct. This is what we want. But for the currency exchange, what's going on? You can see that in January it's J1, right? In February, it's J2. In March, it's J3, April, J4, and so on. You can see that the currency exchange is moving down, 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 and down. That is wrong. What happened? Because this referencing is called relative reference, when you copy the formula down to one row, anything in the formula,นะครับ, the row number will be added by 1. From C6 will be added to C7,นะครับ. From J1 will be added to J2. You can't do anything if you use relative reference. So we have to know about the other type of the referencing that is called absolute reference. Absolute reference means that you refer to a cell,นะครับ, permanently. That means you don't want to move the cell when the formula is copying down or copying to another column or row, something like that. So how do we gonna have the absolute reference? Add on to the relative reference whenever you would like to make any cell to be the absolute reference, or the nickname for this one is to lock the cell, not to be moved. We apply $sign to that row or to that column or to that cell. นะครับ You can see that some of your classmates, if you just like see in the chat box, they enter $sign, right? So that one, they just like use a absolute reference or lock the cell. In order to lock the cell, นะครับ let's see, this one, suppose we would like to lock the cell J1 like this, นะครับ we want to lock the cell J1 like this, just one belong, นะครับ okay, sorry, นะครับ in order to lock the cell, you just apply $sign in front of J and in front of 1. This one means that you lock that cell, นะครับ for column J and row number 1 straight away. There are possible different locking, นะครับ, that some people may do as well, นะครับ. Let's see. If you want just to lock column J, you apply $sign in front of J only. You don't need to lock row. That means once you move down, นะครับ, or you copy down the formula, นะครับ, the cell, the column is always locking at column J, but the row number will be moved down. But somebody said that, what if I want to lock just the row, นะครับ, you can apply J $sign 1. This is to lock just row number 1, but the column can be shifted, นะครับ. But in this class, we just like use the locking for that definite cell, นะครับ. In this case, we want to lock the cell J1 only นะครับ then we just apply นะครับ dollar sign in front of J and in front of 1 ครับ if you use a full size keyboard นะครับ you can lock the cell easily by using the function key F4 นะครับ function key F4 once you press function key F4 it is toggling the locking for locking the cell. Okay, let me just press F4 here. It locks the cell. If I press F4 once again, it locks just row number 1. If I press function key F4 again, it locks column J. And if I press F4 again, it's unlock everything นะครับ This is the shortcut for the keyboard. You can press function key F4. Okay, now I lock the cell J1, the whole cell. In here. So I just like copy this formula down นะครับ So you can see that right now we get นะครับ we get the revenue in Thai baht by calculating the formula by using absolute reference already. Let me just like format the cell a bit นะครับ Okay. Right. Okay นะครับ when we just like use the absolute reference like this, what is the usefulness of having the reference? You can see that in this example นะครับ if you would like to have the revenue in Thai baht นะครับ when I use the calculation นะครับ for the revenue in Thai baht by using the absolute reference in here, the good point is that whenever we said that the currency exchange นะครับ has been updated from time to time. For example, from 32.15, if you want to see that, what if the 34.2 นะครับ what will be different นะครับ so you can see that you don't need to change any formula at all นะครับ because the value will be referring นะครับ the value will be referring to this currency exchange. So the things that you do is that just update the currency exchange cell, just one cell only, and all the value นะครับ in the calculation will be updated. Okay, like this. You don't need to just like do anything with the cell in the table at all นะครับ in here. Right. Oh, sorry, I did the things wrong. Right. Okay นะครับ this is the absolute reference that we have to know. Okay, so okay. The next thing that you have to know นะครับ whenever we have the calculation like this already นะครับ okay, I want to just like show you for the what to say for the next example. Okay, let me just like decorate this table a bit before we move on นะครับ okay. Okay, you can see that from our table here, our worksheet here, we got revenue of 2021, right? We got revenue of 2021. So what if we would like to have another worksheet to show the expected revenue of 2022? What should we do? นะครับ in here, if we say that okay, we have the content that we would like to do. For example, in here, if we say that expected revenue in 2022, we have we need to have the table that is similar to revenue of 2021, but the content inside are different for the revenue like that. Okay, so in this case, if you would like to copy, sometimes people does like this. They copy, if they would like to copy this worksheet, right? They may just like highlight the cells that they want to copy, and then they go to another worksheet and then paste it. The things that happen if you do like this is that, okay, let me just, some of the cells, if you don't copy it, it causes the data to be wrong. For example, revenue in Thai baht here that I use absolute reference, because the absolute reference is in the cell J1, and in J1 in the new sheet, there's nothing here. So sometimes if you want to copy the entire worksheet, if you want to copy the entire worksheet, we may have better way than just like highlights and then copy just a specific table. So what should we do? Okay, let me just like delete this worksheet first. I don't want it. Okay, if you would like to copy the entire worksheet, you may do it easily. The first thing is that make sure that you just like finish working with this worksheet already. Okay, then you just go to the sheet tab, revenue 2021, right? Right click and choose move or copy. Then if you want to copy, just click create a copy and put the position. Suppose we say that, okay, you want it to be before sheet 2, okay, or after revenue 2021 sheet. Then you click OK. Don't forget to click create a copy first. Now you get 2 identical worksheets, revenue 2021 and revenue 2021 number 2. In here, I rename revenue 2021 number 2 to be expected revenue 2022 instead. So everyone, when you get expected revenue 2022 sheet already, I want you to delete the revenue cells in column C out. So you highlight the revenue from January to December and press delete button first. Okay. Also, I would like you to delete column D, that is revenue in Thai baht, using relative reference out. And then clear out the data in column D and E. So right now, okay, and update the data a bit. Revenue of 2022 expected. Okay. Okay, right now you have just like an empty table, with number and month only, with number and month only. Okay. Now the next thing, I want you to do this. Okay, let me just. Let me just like enter the problem for you. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Okay, let me just like copy this one for you. I want you to fill up this table นะครับ to find out the revenue okay expected revenue and then find out the revenue in Thai baht using absolute reference นะครับ while commission amount is still 2% นะครับ the same just fill up this table for me ครับ using the references I give you 5 minutes to do นะครับ you do not do like this นะครับ somebody said oh I copy the revenue of 2021 and paste it here no นะครับ don't do like this I don't want you to add any extra column นะครับ the table must have just like column A to column E only don't copy that data from 2021 in here just use the knowledge that you have got in referencing I have 5 minutes for you นะครับ everyone please start doing it now all right okay time's up นะครับ so right now some of you start showing us for the what to say for the commission amount in Thai baht already นะครับ so now let's see นะครับ how do we gonna do in order to have the expected revenue นะครับ from the given problem in this one we say that assume that revenue นะครับ is increasing 10% from the revenue of that month นะครับ okay so I will have one amount นะครับ multiplied by 1.1 that is increasing by 10% right okay be careful นะครับ increasing by 10% doesn't mean 10% of the previous amount นะครับ so you have to multiply that value by 1.1 นะครับ so firstly you put equal sign first right then we say that okay we have the revenue of that month in the previous year how do we gonna refer นะครับ easy you just click equal sign นะครับ click the revenue in revenue 2021 worksheets and then you can click on the January revenue straight away you can see that if you have a look in here it's revenue 2021 นะครับ exclamation mark C6 what does it mean apostrophe revenue 2021 means worksheet that you are referring to นะครับ C6 means a cell in that worksheet that you would like to refer to นะครับ then you multiply by 1.1 here you get the expected revenue already นะครับ this is a formula you just like click it like what I did นะครับ because I mean like on your the name of the worksheet might be different นะครับ then you just click and do the same thing as I did นะครับ in here so if I copy this cell นะครับ to other cells you can see that it will be revenue 2021 C7 นะครับ for February let's check นะครับ C7 yet that's correct now see December it's revenue 2021 C17 yeah that is correct too นะครับ this is what I would like to have so this is a way in order to use the referencing by just like using different worksheets นะครับ instead of typing the name you just click on the cell that you would like to refer to instead and then I just like it said that okay assume that the exchange rate is 33.35 then I update this one as 33.35 baht per US dollars นะครับ and then I just like multiply expected revenue นะครับ by this exchange rate นะครับ and I lock the cell okay and then I copy this formula down yeah then I just find out the commission it is 2% of the revenue in Thai baht นะครับ then I copy the formula so this one นะครับ the commission amount in Thai baht is 1.6 million baht นะครับ 1661096.80 นะครับ that is a commission in Thai baht so this is the way that we do ครับ in order to just like refer to the data from different worksheets นะครับ from different worksheets so what else do we need to know whenever we have the table like this already นะครับ one good thing for Excel นะครับ is that it can help us to show or to visualize the data properly let's imagine ครับ okay suppose okay before I talk about that one นะครับ just let me show you this one a bit when you have the data in the table and you don't want to show something you can hide itนะครับ but in order to hide the data you can hide the whole column or you can hide the whole row นะครับ depends on what you want for example I want to show just number month and expected revenue only I don't want to show revenue in Thai baht นะครับ nor commission amount then I want to hide column D and E what are we going to doนะครับ you highlight column D and E first that you don't want to show then you go to the column heading so that the cursor will change its appearance to be down arrow like this one นะครับ now right click and then you see menu นะครับ the context menu show hide you click hide ครับ okay let me do it again นะครับ highlight the column that you want to hide นะครับ move the mouse cursor นะครับ the pointer to the column heading right click and then choose hide right now นะครับ the columns are hidden already how do you know that which column are hidden if you have a look you can see that it has column A B C and then jump to F นะครับ and it has small parallel lines between C and F that means there are some columns that are hidden in order to unhide them นะครับ unhidden them you highlight the column before and after the hidden column นะครับ right click and choose unhide นะครับ then it will be back okay let me do it again นะครับ to unhide you choose the column before and after the hidden column นะครับ move the mouse pointer over the header of the column right click and then choose unhide it will be unhiding the hidden column นะครับ to hide those column do the same thing highlight the column that you want to hide right click and then you hide them this is not to delete the column นะครับ but we just hide it because sometimes you don't want to show it to make other people confused sometimes if I said I don't want column A to be shown I hide it too so I have just month and expected revenue I can do the same thing with the rows นะครับ for example if I want to show the data in the first quarter of the year only I want to hide the row number 9 to 17 I can highlight them right click and then choose hide as well so my table just show the first 3 months of the year นะครับ for its expected revenue and when I want to unhide the row I do the same thing as the column hidden นะครับ I highlight the row before and after นะครับ the hidden rows and then I right click and choose unhide นะครับ okay right okay so hence you can just like be with me after the class then I just like fix the problem for you นะครับ all right okay so for this one when you have a look here นะครับ if you are in the meeting room you can see that in order to show this data นะครับ it is quite difficult to find out that okay whether which one is the highest expected revenue which one is the lowest one นะครับ because it's the table one the better way in order to show the data is to visualize it in terms of charts or graph นะครับ so I just like show you how do we gonna have the chart or graph for the data so firstly นะครับ you prepare the data to be visualized first for example I want to visualize just like the month and expected revenue only นะครับ in dollars นะครับ then the next step is that I choose นะครับ the data นะครับ normally they are organized in table like this and it's heading as well นะครับ so I choose from B5 to C17 นะครับ it covers month expected revenue and all just like the data for these two columns. After that, I choose insert. You can see that there are a lot of charts in here. There are a lot of charts in here. So the things that we do is that we just choose what type of chart that you would like to have. You may just like click on recommended chart first, and then let Excel suggest you. It suggests you this kind of charts, or you can just like choose all charts and then choose the type of chart that you want to have. For example, I want to have the 3D pie charts in here. Suppose I want it, I just click OK. Then I get the chart in my worksheet already. So in this one, once you move the mouse pointer over each piece of pie, each slice of pie, it shows you for the amount or the value of the expected revenue in here, and it shows the percentage as well. If you want to just like add something more, for example, you want to let it display the data labels, you can click it to display. Right now, it also shows the data in the table on the chart too. Something like that. So when you use or when you have the chart already and you are not happy with the type of the chart, you can just change the chart as you want. You may just click change chart type and then choose other type of charts. Maybe the chart that Excel recommends you in here. If I say that, oh, for cluster column chart is okay, I click OK here. By the way, it looks messy for each bar. I can just like eliminate the data labels as well. Or if you say that, okay, for the word expected revenue, in here, I don't want it to be displayed. I can just like unshow it in the legend, okay, in here. So this one, you can have the chart as you want. So from this chart, you can see that which one is the highest one, which one is the lowest one as well, in here, right? Okay. So you can change the chart type anytime you want to, right? Okay, so that should be all for today. The things that you should do when you have time is that you just practice and then show different kind of charts that you can just like show. You may just like show different data, like for example, you may want to show month and revenue in Thai baht compare with the commission, something like that, with different type of charts. You may just like try them at home when you have time, and then just like practice the way in order to use the absolute reference and relative reference, because I mean like when we study more, we have to use this kind of referencing more and more. Okay, right. Okay then, up to this point, do you have any questions, anyone? If you don't have any question, everyone, could you please save your file? Save your file. Okay. And then please turn on your camera.